exclusive moment here. We got both Without Love. We got Time Heist right here. What is this? Some kind of crossover episode?
Well, it's America's birthday, so we have to. The American and the Brit have to talk to each other about how much
Oh,
we miss each other, and
Make amends. All that stuff.
yeah. It might have been a mistake. It might have been a mistake.
oh.
Happy birthday, America.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. How you doing, Mr. Mark?
I'm awake. I'm
Coffee
awake.
for the win. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. You guys are in here having a small conversation. We can have a small conversation together. The split, you guys. Yeah, like how y'all both feeling about it? I got you both right here and out right now.
Yo, it's dope because a lot of people that I've talked to that have heard the split are like, yo, this band Without Love is fucking awesome. I've never heard of this band before. And so that was kind of like what I was hoping was going to happen, was like the kids in America would hear them. And because there's a lot of hardcore kids that like remember that sound from like the mid 2000s of like melodic, like really passionate hardcore. And there's a lot of people that I hear that I talk to that are like, yo, I wish that would come back, because kids I think are kind of getting burnt on.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
yeah, like the current hardcore is like getting in some ways is getting kind of stale, so kids are ready for like something new. And I think that's what both of our bands offer, is like it's not necessarily new, but it's styles that a lot of people aren't really doing, and so it feels new to younger kids especially.
I think
it's same for people, friends we've been showing the split to and stuff, and they're all excited about having a new youth crew band, because it's definitely, I mean, I don't know about America, but over here it's sorely lacking these days. So yeah, I think it's like good to have a fresh take on like older styles. Yeah.
As I would say, a nice palate cleanser, like something refreshing in a way, because as Mark was saying, feeling a little stale.
Yeah. Well, and I think people are like also kind of hungry for like something with substance. Not to say that like a lot of like modern hardcore lacks substance, but I think that there's a lot within a lot of like the current genres that's just kind of like, it's mosh part, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like the only people that are really like saying anything right now are like the trans and queer people in hardcore and the people of color in hardcore, and like those are the messages that are like really resonating with people. But there's room for positive messages. There's room for like really like honest emotional lyrics, like especially for men, and like kind of promoting that like idea of like, it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to like be sad.
Very, very okay. Yes.
But it's also okay to have like a positive outlook about things, and to like work towards like pushing forward in somebody's own life. So I think that's like combined, that's what we both offer in this split, and I hope that like resonates with people.
Oh, I absolutely think that people will definitely feel resonated when hearing this. Be Alone. Was very impressed with what you guys put out here and everything.
Thanks, man.
Also, since you're both here and everything, like, I just thought of this question, like, John, like, are there some American bands that like you could that influence you, that maybe influence Mark as well, and possibly if there's some crossover in there? And then same with Mark, is there some British bands that like influenced you, like maybe you guys had some crossover and you have some thoughts you guys could talk about, like bands that have influenced you from across the pond, and since you're having this moment right now?
Sure. Well, I mean, from my point of view and the other guys in Without Love, I'd say as Mark said, it's like that mid 2000s is kind of our big inspirations. So bands like Have Heart, Go It Alone, Modern Life is War. That's kind of like the core of what we're like drawing from. So I don't know. I'm sure Mark's obviously into those bands. I don't know if they're. I'm sure he's got lots of other influences too that he's drawing on.
I mean, like definitely like Modern Life is War. Have Heart like was a band that I liked, but they weren't like really like super influential to me. I think like Modern Life is War definitely had like a huge impact on me because their first record hit kind of right when I was starting to really like get into hardcore and understand that like hardcore was its own thing. Because I grew up in New Mexico, and this is like real small town, or not real small town, but small comparative to like Denver and like other big cities in the United States. And I just like everything that came through Denver or came through Albuquerque, I thought was punk. So like I was like, oh, Agnostic Front is a punk band. Sick of It All is a punk band. AFI is a punk band. Like I never, until like I started really getting into hardcore, did I like understand the differentiation in like the sub genres. And I saw Minor Life is War in like 2000, I think, with 2000 or 2001 with this band called For the Crown, and I can't remember who else played, but it was in this like little like community center in Prescott, Arizona. There was like 10, 15 people there. And Rosary was supposed to play, which is like ex-members of like Stay Gold and Champion, and but they didn't make it. But like seeing Modern Life is War play that show, and that was just when they had the 7-inch out, is like honestly like the closest thing I've ever had to a religious experience. Like it blew my mind. Like Jeff at that point in that band was just a maniac. Like he was like the most intense person I had like ever seen on stage. And that like that singular experience like really impacted me as far as like what I was influenced by going forward. But like my favorite like American bands, you know, like Madball was like one of the big bands that I got into like early on. Bane, like I got into hardcore like when Bane was kind of starting out, so like those like first couple EPs, and then It All Comes Down to This, and then like the early American Nightmare stuff. But like most of what like really resonated with me was stuff that was like very lyrically like deep and like more intelligent. So like the stuff that Wes was writing, the stuff that Jeff was writing for Modern Life is War, the stuff that George wrote for Blacklisted. Like when I listen to music, I latch onto lyrics. And so like a lot of my influences were like stuff that had like a lot of substance lyrically. But like,
and I would say Without Love, they got a lot of substance.
Oh yeah. Well, and like the thing that first struck me about Without Love, and I say this all the time, is they reminded me so much of Lifelong Tragedy.
Oh yeah, that was. I'm just thinking that was another band we bonded over, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was a band that I had like a really like personal connection with, because they like a dude that I used to be friends with in New Mexico was the one that like put out their LP, The Destined for Anything. And so I kind of like I had like a connection with him that way. And then we booked him a bunch of times in Denver. And so I got to know those kids really well. And I remember like at the beginning of the pandemic when RJ died, that was like, that like hit me really hard. It's like everything that was going on, like I had just gotten laid off, the pandemic was starting, and then like this dude from this band that I loved, that I had like had conversations with and hung out with, like just finding out that he died, like that kind of like that was a shitty period, honestly. But like hearing Without Love and hearing that sound and like that passion that those kids had, like, and what's crazy about those guys is they were like 17 when they wrote that record. They were like children when they wrote that record. And yeah, just like hearing Without Love sound and like how they, you know, how they came across, I was like, yo, like we have to do something with this band. Like if it's like going over there and touring with them, or like doing a split with them or whatever, like we have to do something with this band. and they were down, and it worked out. So
Worked out like way easier than like, I ever imagined it would.
yeah.
So awesome. That is destiny in so many different ways. And I know that John, you've got to go pretty soon.
I'm good for another 10 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to hold you up too long or anything, but
That's cool.
I thought of this before when just recently, like since you're both here, kind of want to pick your brain both like on this. I was looking up the top 10 like most influential hardcore bands and curious about like your guys' opinion on it. Just like I play like a little game or anything. Like just like, yeah, totally influential. Like, nah, I don't know, kind of mid, whatever, just for fun and everything. And this is all from like alternative press. I'm just have some fun with this. And what are the chances I'm gonna get you guys together like this? Hopefully again in the future, but just play some fun stuff. And I don't think this is in order in any way, but this is off the cuff. Now, I don't know if it's 10 or 1, but first one is Hatebreed.
Satisfaction and Death of Desire is the Bible.
That's church right there. I love John. Honesty,
so, like for me, like not like musically what I'd go for, but like massive respect for like how far they've taken things and obviously how many people they've influenced. Not something I would go to like listen to on the regular, but I mean like one of the best to do what they're doing, definitely.
I love it just off the cuff, like a little bit like different opinions. Love this. Converge.
Again, way like sort of heavier than what I'd go for, but again, like massive respect for them.
Massive respect. Yes, absolutely.
Well, and I think like the thing about Converge is like whether or not you jive with them musically, it's undeniable like the influence that they had in
absolutely
in hardcore and kind of bridging that gap between like hardcore and metalcore and like keeping hardcore kind of like adjacently relevant in the mainstream with like not only like the bands that they toured with, but also like all the stuff that Jake put out on Death Wish.
Oh, he's put some bangers.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Black Flag.
Which Black Flag?
Oh, I love it. Let's this is to your opinion, so you can choose whichever version of it, what you're feeling. So we'll just do everything as a whole package. I mean, even though they are two different versions, but we'll just add Black Flag's history as a whole.
I mean, there's like 10 different versions of Black Flag. Wow. The Keith Morris Black Flag. I don't know. I like Black Flag more as a concept than I like them as like actually a band. Like
I think more of a brand than a band at this point, maybe.
Oh,
but yeah.
I think if you've ever read American Hardcore, Stephen Blush, they talk about like the early days of Black Flag, like how hard they went on like when they went on tour, they would like rehearse on tour. And so like just so they were like extra tight. And like just how many shows they played and like the amount of touring that they did like was pretty impressive. But I think as with a lot of things, like time and egos kind of start to erode at things that are gold. So
for me, I think that like in terms of just the music, like there's definitely good stuff, but I think there's just so much of it now that the stuff that's not as great outweighs the good stuff in volume. But but the stuff that's good, I think it's definitely stands the test of time, and it's obviously been hugely influential over the years.
I love it. Botch. I feel
not
like
for me.
I feel like Botch being on this list is a little off, but
I was surprised.
I went with a pretty reputable source, alternative press, and I didn't look at the list. I just like grabbed it up.
Yeah, I mean, just to be honest, not a band I know a huge amount about. I know people that just, swear by them. But just not a band I know a lot about, and definitely not the kind of thing I would go to listen to.
Yeah, great. They're a band that I would see live, but I don't ever like really listen to their records.
I could see that. That makes a lot of sense with them. No disrespect, but I get it. Snapcase.
I'm gonna say thumbs up just with like my old band played with them, and they were like they were the nicest dudes, nicest dudes. And like there's a couple of their records that I like. As far as like how influential they were, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like a lot
That's
of
a
people.
toss up, I feel.
I don't see their name tossed around a lot as like a really influential band, but they're good.
Yeah, I've been the same. I think they're just kind of surprised they're on that list. Maybe was it top 10?
I went to the first top 10 hardcore band and with alternative press. I was like, that seems like a reputable ish.
Yeah,
like,
no, like slight to Snapcase, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of bands I would put higher, I would put above them in a top 10 list. But yeah, not a bad band by any means.
Yeah, I would put them over Botch personally, but like still, it's a little like like them, not in a bad way, but like, oh, okay. I feel like this is an obvious no-brainer that I'm seeing it. Madball.
Yeah, again, like
I saw some hesitation there. You can say
no, definitely not thumbs down. And I think for me, like a lot of these ones, it's like bands where it's not necessarily going to be on my daily like playlist, but if I got the chance to see them live and things, it's a no-brainer because they are definitely some of the most influential bands from over the years. I think there's a big difference between what you're listening to on the daily and what stands the test of time as an influential band.
Right, and I think you're being very objective about it. Like you're like, personally, not me, but you respect and understand. Like, I can't not like.
Yeah, sure.
Say like they're not influential, and this is just basically. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one really like big thing about Madball that like John might not like be super aware of. Is like they were hugely influential to Hispanic kids in America and like Latin kids in America because they were like the first brown dudes that people saw like really like getting big and hardcore. And
That's
I remember like the first Madball record I ever heard was Look My Way, and I looked at that cover and like growing up in Albuquerque, I was like, oh, these look like dudes I go to high school with.
Yeah.
Like these are like I can jive with this because like this seems culturally close to like what I'm experiencing. And
that's cool for sure.
They were doing songs in Spanish and they were like touring Latin America. Like I think their influence in that way was massive. But aside from that, I think they're one of the best bands to ever do it. Not just saying that because they're my homies, but like they're
solid.
They're the kings. Yeah.
Ooh. Bad Brains.
Oh. Yeah.
I feel really bad. I still haven't listened to Bad Brains. I want to put
that's a no-brainer.
I know it is and everything, but I'm super stoked to find it. That's why I'm doing my review channel, to purposely like listen to stuff that I've never got a chance to go around to, but I feel like it's an obvious no-brainer with Bad Brains. Minor Threat. All right.
Yeah, too much to say on that. It's kind of an obvious one.
Brilliant. Yeah. Youth of Today. Oh.
Interesting.
This seems interesting.
They're not my favorite of that era. They came to Denver recently. They were good live.
But just something never really like in terms of influence for you, it didn't really click.
Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever listened to a whole Youth of Today record like in one sitting.
Ooh. And the records are relatively short too, so it's like
I know. I get bored easy.
Hey, but if it doesn't click, it doesn't click, and there's nothing wrong with that. People are like, "Well, what do you mean?" Like, people don't vibe, they don't vibe. You got to respect that, and I respect that, and especially when you're being honest about it. Yeah. And last one, I feel very split about it. I would love you guys' opinion. Disembodied. Oh,
I don't know. I've never really listened to them.
No, same.
kind of.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like top 10, just like most influential. Like, I guess I feel for the writer, maybe very personal on that one, because same with like Snapcase. I don't think they get brought up enough or just talked about enough to where like they could be influential, but it's a toss up. I feel it, but like I can see a lot of negative, not negative, but just like pass.
I think those are just bands whose labels took out ads in alternative press, and so like those were the ones that ended up getting on the list.
Yeah, why didn't we do that?
That's a good.
Because I don't know. But,
hey, money talks these days. Get them on pages. Which now, that's their. If there's anyone that you would like, you're kind of like, how are they not on the list that you would want to throw on this alternative press, like, list, or this list that was brought up? It's anyone that was missed.
Oh God, Agnostic Front.
I think when we touched on before, Modern Life as well.
Yeah,
I think they deserve to be up there.
They need more respect for sure. Like, people need
American
more respect.
American Nightmare for sure. I mean, they changed the game when they came around. I think Judge too, because Judge like was the first like straight edge band that was like mad about being straight edge.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than like, well, there's like Project X, but and Judge like kind of like bridged that gap of like the crossover. I was a Biohazard like was probably really influential to a lot of people. They weren't really my jam, but again, like another like New York crossover band. Trying to think.
Not necessarily one for me, but I was kind of waiting for you to say Cro-Mags on that list.
Do we?
I'm not getting into which Cro-Mags or who, but I was kind of waiting for that to come on the list. That was one I was expecting to come out of there.
Everyone in the Cro-Mags died in a plane crash in 1989, except for Mackie. So Mackie's the only Cro-Mag.
That's all that's left. Oh, but that's pretty interesting. Now I'm thinking all American bands, and I know hardcore is very American influenced, but I feel like there has to be at least some, like, I would at least think a British hardcore band that would be just as influential. But I guess I can't. Maybe I'm overreaching.
I don't know. I mean, like, you guys got the lock on like street punk. I mean, there's no American band that does it better than like the original like Coxbar and even like the newer bands like Crown Court and who else is like rocking over there? I don't know, it's too early. I can't think that much, but
the UK's got a stranglehold on punk, like, for sure. Like,
I mean, there's obviously like bands like the Chisel and stuff doing like massive things in the
The Chisel, I just saw them in Albuquerque. They fucking killed it. Yeah,
I've been hearing nothing but great things about them. I'm super excited to check them out hopefully one day.
They just got signed to a big label too, like Pure Noise or whatever.
Yeah, it was
that label is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
they're making the waves out here. Right. Let's see. Time wise, how are we doing? Oh,
yeah, I'm probably gonna have to make a move, but
I don't want to hold you. I think this is a perfect segue. Like, I'm happy I lined you guys up perfectly on the same day and everything like this and whatnot. And
I sent John a message. I was like, we should have just done this all together. Like, it's all good.
I'm a newbie at this. There's I can't say next time, but hopefully another split. But we're all getting used to this.
When we do the UK tour with them, we can do it again.
Okay. Definitely. And I'll purposely I'll find a way to the UK and just do it in person too. Make it even better.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. All right, John. Thank you for coming by.
Nice to speak to you guys. Yes. Thanks for having us.
See you
later, John.
Everyone else watching, I don't know if I'm going to continue this, but stay tuned for the interview with Mark. Yeah.
See you later.
Peace. Hey guys,